What's up, y'all? It's Galoob, aka QB1. I'm here at the R&R with the Lobster. We've got MikeG in the house again on Skype. Me and MikeG just had an awful weekend. I was up late last night. I skipped the gym this morning. I'm surprised I didn't break multiple things inside my house. I was very calm and collected. Why don't you tell? You know what? I know what I'm going to say. Why don't you give me what you're going to say about this game on the Steelers side of the ball?
Well, let's go with the first play of the game. Reminded me of the Super Bowl, 8 years ago, Seattle and Denver.
I said that.
3 plays later, we throw a pick. Before you know it, it's 21-0. I was not as calm and collected as you were. I was throwing some things, cussing. I went in late to work this morning because I knew I was going to hear it all. But I guess the best word to say is pathetically dismal.
For the entire game?
The entire first half.
Okay. I'll accept that, although they righted the ship a little bit at the end of the first half. When you dig that big of a hole, obviously it's ridiculous to even expect to come out of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cleveland wasn't they weren't defending the run. There was no need to. They were playing 3 back. You didn't have to be. I mean, you let Ben throw the ball 68 times. So, I mean, obviously he threw the ball enough. You just, like you said, you're down too much. It's hard to dig yourself out of that. Of course, then when you still
honestly, besides, I know Ben turned the ball over 4 times. But for the most part, I mean, what did he complete? 47 passes?
It's 48-68, wasn't it? Or 47-68 for
what it was. I know he broke a record. I know that.
Yeah.
Most completions. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that once the Browns got that huge lead, you could tell they kind of relaxed.
Oh yeah.
They took their foot off the gas and kind of let Pittsburgh back in the game. I saw that.
I mean, when this happened in the game you're talking about, Denver got blown out 43-8.
Yep.
Yeah, they never recovered from it.
I was going to ask both of y'all that. When that snap goes over his head to start the game, does that give you that feeling like you know this isn't going to go well?
Well, you're like, well, I go back to, and we'll probably get into this here in a few minutes. I was not very happy with us benching everybody last week. Pouncey coming off.
I absolutely agree with you on that. I think we should have played starters for treated like a preseason game.
Yeah.
So they get the reps for the week. But there was no reason to win or lose that game. Didn't matter. I mean, obviously, performance-wise, it did.
If we beat them, they're not in the playoffs, and Miami's in the playoffs, and we're not even having this discussion. It was something to play for.
I mean, yes and no. I'm all for us not playing the starters the entire game. I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with that.
I think we should have done what the Bills did. The Bills played the starters, got up, said, we're good. We're good. Everyone go rest. Right. We're okay with the result.
But like you said, you watch that and you're like, man, we got the ball first. They've already scored. It's 12 seconds into the game. They get the ball at halftime. This just
all right. If JuJu and Claypool don't do the things that they do this year off the field, is this as big of a disappointment? Are the Steelers as much of a joke, today as they would be if the wide receiver core was just a normal blue-collar lunch pail?
No, I don't. I understand completely what you're saying, because it is. You've done this to yourself. You've created a meme or a TikTok or whatever the hell you're doing. You've made yourself into that story by doing all these things and then taking an L in the manner you did.
But yeah, you gave them bulletin board material. What I did,
Well, see, I think that's bullshit. I don't care about bulletin board material. Go out on the field and perform. You want to say stupid shit? That's fine. I don't care. And JuJu did it. I don't know how. Are you going to tell me it affected the rest of the team because JuJu said something? We just didn't come ready to play.
We did not. It was another piss poor Tomlin game plan. I'm sorry. I know you love him. I've loved him. It was his last 3 playoff games, he's been out coached by Alex Van Pelt, Doug Marrone. So I'm not really impressed with him at this point in time. You've tossed away several, in my opinion, Super Bowl teams that you should have at least been in the Super Bowl in the last decade.
Outsider thoughts on that?
So you caught my post today when I said since the Super Bowl, they're 5-7 in the playoffs, and they've missed the playoffs 5 years.
Since the Super Bowl, they're 3-6.
It says 5-7 online.
Oh, I'm sorry. Since we lost the last Super Bowl, I apologize. I not since we won. My bad. Since our loss to Green Bay, we're 3-6.
Yeah.
And our last
since you won the Super Bowl, you're 5-7, and you've completely missed the playoffs 5 times.
Yeah.
And so I made a post today. JuJu's a free agent. Bud Dupree's a free agent. Ben's cap hits $40 million next year. T.J. Watt's going to want more money than Joey Bosa got. What's the future looking like in Pittsburgh? Well, I mean, he thinks you should run it back for one more year. What's your perspective?
I think running it back for one more year, if you get Bush back, if you get Dupree back, if you have a healthy Hayden, you get yourself a good, important draft pick, whether it's a left tackle, because I think you need to let Villanueva go.
Center. Pouncey is done. He got blasted off the ball multiple times last night.
Oh, I saw Villanueva get blasted several times too by the guy's name.
But Villanueva is very, very good at pass blocking.
Well, we need
that blind side for Ben. Now, power runs go to the right side, and I think DeCastro is still okay.
Yeah, I think DeCastro, Filer. We lost our right tackle too. He was a backup that's been playing.
Zach Banner was playing very, very well, done for the year. That's what I'm saying. That's where my let's run it back one more time comes from, because there were a ton of very, very big injuries, and those guys are. I think if those guys are there, we're talking a different story right now.
I mean, you lost some great players on defense. I think you're more. I think a bigger problem for you guys is the inability to run the ball. How do you address that? I mean, you just said draft some linemen, but those guys, you don't know if they're going to come in ready to play or not. The
issue with that is we can't sign a lineman. We don't have the money.
You have no money because you gave Ben this Kobe Bryant end of his career contract that's strapping the team right now. He says Ben's taking team-friendly deals his whole career, so you got to reward him a little bit. But football's a what have you done for me lately? Ben's not – I mean, I love Ben. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Ben's not a $43 million quarterback, which is what his cap hit's going to be next year if he's still on the roster.
Is there any chance that Ben restructures his contract for a final run and says, you know what, that's fine, we're good. Get me a lineman. Get me a guy on the right side of the ball that can fire at him.
If Ben restructures his deal, he plans on playing more than one more year.
If you restructure the deal, all you're doing is kicking the can down the road. Eventually, the Steelers are going to have to eat this money.
You're going to have to pay the piper.
Which is the reason the Saints have restructured Drew Brees' contract so many times. They're still going to be paying him next year, and he's not even going to be on the team. That's not an option.
No, it's not. But, I mean, you have to look at what we have behind him, and that's not the answer. So you either pay him the $40 million restructured deal and then eat it for one more run back, as you're saying, next year. You franchise tag Dupree one more time. Hopefully, maybe he takes a one-year deal coming off a knee injury. See what he can do. Hopefully we'll get some sort of deal with him. Bush comes back.
My thing is, I think if we don't run it back next year and see what we can do to make that work, I think we're looking at a complete rebuild.
I said you should go. I posted today. I think you should go ahead and start the rebuild and get a jump start. I mean, I know you guys are diehards. I'm an outsider looking in. You're better than my team, but you've been passed by the Kansas City Chiefs. You've been passed by the Buffalo Bills. You're not winning the Super Bowl next year. I know that hurts to say. I think you should jumpstart the rebuild and start it now. That way, instead of being good in 2025, you're good in 2023, 2024.
I think if we have all these pieces that are hurt, we're absolutely competitive with Kansas City and Buffalo this year.
I think we need to make a change on the offensive coordinator side of the football. This short little passing, no inability to run the football has got to change.
I don't even think that's an OC thing. I think that's a nature of what our offense is capable of thing. with the offensive line we have.
Well,
So-
if that's the case, then like you said, we need to draft some sort of interior lineman. I think left tackle. Huh?
Go ahead.
I think left tackle, because if you bring Ben back one more year, you're going to need somebody to make sure he doesn't get his head knocked off. Plus, you need to left tackle is the most important position in the offensive line. When you talk about in this day and age, it's all about passing. So even if you draft a left tackle, then 2 years you go quarterback somewhere, that'll be the foundation for your franchise.
Ben's only been sacked 13 times this year. I think Villanueva
Because
does
he
a good
gets rid
job
of
in pass blocking.
4 seconds. So.
I get it. I'm just saying, pass blocking wise, I think we're fine. You saw it yesterday when Ben was stepping up in the pocket. There's plenty of pocket there. He can work. In the last halves of the game when he's running no huddle and they're running 5 wides, he's got plenty of time. I don't think pass blocking is the issue. The issue is because of the age of this line, they can't fire out off the ball and take out these young DTs, defensive ends that are built for rushing in and collapsing the line. That's where your issue is. I don't think it's on backing up. It's on going forward.
Well, yeah, because I watched the Saints, and it was right around the goal line. They ran a shotgun run play out of the shotgun, and it's like they fell forward. Our offensive line seems like it falls backwards. Like as soon as he gets the ball, the running back's getting hit. Whether it's center, left guard, right tackle, some sort of offensive line help or multiple positions.
You saw it on a 4th and 1 yesterday.
Yeah.
Derek Watt converted the first one. They
Yep.
gave it to him again. He ran directly into Marquise Pouncey's ass because Marquise Pouncey got blew back 3 yards.
Yep.
There was also a 4th and 1 in the game that Tomlin, you're down 2 possessions and
Oh,
Tomlin decides to punt it.
We were getting there. I was thinking about it. Tell me about that, because I've already went on a rant.
Analytics say you should go for it. This year more than ever, coaches are going for it on 4th and 3 or less.
In my 15 years of watching Tomlin, that may have been his worst decision as a coach. And that rivals the stupid punt last year. He tried to run the fake punt from his own 25, which was horrible.
Did you hear his explanation after the game?
I didn't. I turned the television off.
He said he wanted to pin them down, and he thought their defense was playing well enough to make that decision work. I don't know. Like, where is this coming from? For one, no, it's not. What are you talking about?
I think, like Robbie said, they took their foot off the pedal. Yeah. You had them reeling. It was 4th and 1 at the 50. You keep pushing. If you go score, it's a 1 possession game.
That's when you're inside their head. If you score there and make it a 1 possession game with 10 minutes left in the ball game, we're talking different kinds of things here.
Because here you go forward on 4th and 2 from your own 2-yard line. You're down 19. You kick a field goal, you're down 16, but you don't go forward on 4th and 1 down 12 at the 50. I'm not quite sure I understand.
We will never get the real answer for that. We won't.
I've got 2 things I want to hear both of your opinions on about this.
2 things.
First thing, the guy that's a walking meme today, how do you feel about him being a Pittsburgh Steeler going forward? Do you think he deserves wide receiver 1 money with you guys going forward, which I'm guessing is going to be somewhere in the 4 or 5 years, $80-100 million range, which is the going price for a number 1 receiver, which JuJu's numbers say he is. How do you feel about that going forward? Re-sign him, let him go, let him walk. Your receiving core is good enough.
You go
with or without him.
You tell me.
I love JuJu. I think he reminds me a little bit of Hines Ward. I think he does a little bit of everything, but I don't think you can give him 17 a year, 18 a year. Not with the cap strap we're going to be in as it is. We're trying to re-sign TJ. Hopefully sign some sort of offensive lineman, whether you decide to sign a free agent quarterback, going for whatever your decisions are. You got Fitzpatrick and Bush. The deals will be up next year. I don't think you give JuJu $17 million, $18 million, especially with Claypool and Johnson. I mean, Washington's not bad either.
Washington came out big time yesterday when we needed him to.
Yeah, I think our wide receiving core was good. It's better with JuJu, obviously. Anybody that would say anything different is just wrong. But I think that type of money for that position in our position of a salary cap, I don't think you can do it. I think TJ's more important.
I'm not gonna say I completely agree because I really like JuJu.
I do
and I
too.
want him to stay.
Yeah.
I think you're right on the giving him too much money thing. I'm not giving him 17 million. Sorry. And we've seen this a million times with many wide receivers in Pittsburgh. We always have good wide receivers. We're not giving them the money. They go elsewhere and they're just not as good. Now, was that a Ben effect? I don't know. Mike Wallace, Plexico Burris, although he had a pretty successful career, wasn't quite the same. Santonio Holmes was still successful when he left, but not quite the same.
Sanders.
I think Emmanuel Sanders still pretty good, not quite the same. He did have a good run with Peyton, I believe, right?
Please don't say Martavis Bryant. I hate that guy.
Forgot about that one. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. I think Pittsburgh does a very good job of not overvaluing wide receivers, but I do think that JuJu loves the city of Pittsburgh, and I think for the most part they love him back. It's going to come down to we'll give you 15 and that's it. Like,
I think.
Do you want to stay? Or do you want to go? Is somebody going to give him that money if he leaves? Does he want to go somewhere else?
I think somebody will give him the money. I do. Hopefully,
especially the Jets.
Yeah.
But do you think he wants to go there, or will he take that little bit of a pay cut?
Well, here's one thing.
That's what it comes down to.
One thing, don't forget, and I was reading about this yesterday because I was preparing for this conversation, hoping we wouldn't have it yet. I was reading an article on PFF. The Jets, with their salary cap, they are anticipated to sign James Conner and JuJu, reuniting JuJu with Sam Darnold if the Jets don't take quarterback at 2.
Makes sense. Makes complete sense.
Could definitely see it.
So you say don't resign JuJu, which is I agree with you. You saying it doesn't make sense to you are.
Right, not for that high price tag. No.
And you're saying only re-sign him if it's a team-friendly deal, which is not going to happen.
I feel like he's saying the same thing. It's like, we're not paying top dollar to keep you here.
Yes. I think you drafted Claypool to be JuJu's replacement. That's just me.
We do it every time. We do it every time.
We do it every time. I think if JuJu gives you a $12 to $14 million a year ballpark, I think you jump all over it.
That's not enough for JuJu. JuJu's better than that.
Here's the other thing. Ben's leaving, whether it be this year or next year. Why are we signing JuJu for 4 or 5 years? Why?
Maybe he gets he's 24 years old. Maybe you take a 2-year.
I know he's young.
$30 million deal. He's young. Take a 2-year, $30 million deal. Let him play it out with Ben. He's still 26 on the flip side.
I hadn't really thought about that. I know Ben loves him. I know they have a great relationship. So maybe that is an option. Maybe you can give him a 2-year, $34 million deal. Maybe you can do that.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking like the 4 and 5 year deals. That's where my head's at. I'm not giving him 17 to 20 mil for 5 years.
I don't think any number one wide receiver at that age in his prime is taking anything less than a 4 to 5 year deal.
No, they're not.
They're not.
Maybe you
My second thing.
You take a 3-year deal with a 3rd year being a player option. Maybe you give him that ticket, something to that effect. Let him.
Because I think TJ Watt is better right now than Nick Bosa is. And Nick Bosa just got 125 from the Chargers. Mm-hmm. So I don't think TJ Watt's taking a penny less than that because he's worth it. So you're going to have some huge contracts coming up. You got some decisions to make. You're basically the Cubs right now. Do we keep trying or do we just blow this whole thing up?
Well, that's where I'm kind of at with the go ahead and sell it. If Ben says, I know everyone says, well, Ben just needs to go ahead and retire. I think that's ridiculous. I think Ben's arm looks completely fine. I think he's fine. I think if he says he wants to play 2 more years, I'm good with it. Let's focus on that.
Yeah, I think his arm looked, obviously he threw it 70 times. It's clearly okay. And the throw to Claypool.
His numbers for the year, he's almost 66%, 33 touchdowns, 10 picks, and that's in 15 games. Yeah. Who are you? You stop it. It's like the guy's blaming Tomlin. So Tomlin is a great coach. You can blame him for the one thing. I'm saying in general. Stop it. Like overall, these fire Tomlin guys, Ben retire already. Quit it. You don't know what you're talking about. You're like a half-ass fan. You don't know football. I don't know. I don't know where your head's at.
Tomlin proved last year he can coach football. There's no doubt about that. And the injuries that mounted this year, I mean, I don't want to say give him a pass, but you almost got to. Some of his, again, I'm going to say that some of his decisions in big games are questionable.
I really feel like you could say that with any coaching decision, coach ever. They've made some decision that just does not end up well, and you can sit there and harp on it all you want. That's why you have to look at the body of work.
I know you look at the body of work, but here what do we judge ourselves on in Pittsburgh? We don't judge ourselves on division titles.
6 rings.
The six rings, and you're 3-6 since you lost your last Super Bowl, not since you won. You're 5-7 since you won your last one. And again, I say you've been outcoached badly by Alex Van Pelt, and you gave up 45 points to Blake Bortles and Doug Marrone at home.
I don't want to talk about that.
In our last 3 losses, because we're 0-3 in our last 3 games, 45, 48.
That was pretty close to a historically good defense, though. They almost knocked Tom Brady and the Patriots out of the playoffs that year. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Can we also say that we've never seen Mike Tomlin without a Hall of Fame quarterback
Last year,
and a top 10 defense?
that's what Pittsburgh does. Defense, baby.
I think Tomlin's great. I think he's a great guy. Youngest head coach ever. I think he's the youngest head coach ever win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Is it hard to coach when you have a top 10 defense and a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Shouldn't be. Again, I think it goes back to his decisions in those games. Again, the 4th and 1, it sticks with me. It has been sticking with me for almost 24 hours now. I'm still
think about it for a while because it's one of the last runs we're going to get. It might be the last one with Ben. We don't know.
That leads me to my second question for you two.
We're pushing 22 here, though. Let's wrap it up.
My second question. We'll wrap it for you two on this one. You give me yours, and then I'll go with my question.
What worries me the most is our top 10 defense couldn't get to Baker Mayfield with 3 backup linemen, or stop the run with 3 backup linemen.
Baker wasn't getting back and sitting there, though. Baker was getting rid of the ball. They showed a graphic. He was getting rid of the ball in almost Ben time for the season, like under 2.5 seconds.
And Chubb still had 100 yards rushing.
That's to be expected.
With 3 backup linemen? T.J. Watt, the Defensive Player of the Year, should have had a field day.
We've got backup linebackers. We got
guys out there who look like they joined the circus with all the tattoos they had out there playing linebacker.
What? What do you got?
Is this the most disappointing finish to a season that you guys have ever experienced being a part of the Steelers fan base since you started off 11-0 and people were saying Miami Dolphins, 72 Dolphins better watch out because blah, blah, blah. And, we're getting stairway to 7, whatever.
Let me go ahead. I'll take this one. You can finish it out.
Okay.
No. Because in the last weeks of the season, you saw how detrimental it was to not have a run game, to expect Ben Roethlisberger to throw the ball 50 times a game and use the slant drag as an extension of the running game. We've got no power running game. Guess what you don't win a Super Bowl without? You have to be able to run the football for the most part. There's some Mahomes. Still.
You have to have the ability.
Not often. You have to be able to run the ball. And our offense scared absolutely nobody running the ball in a shotgun, running play action. We were counting on Ben Roethlisberger to run 5 wides for the entire second half of the season.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not disappointed, and I'm not surprised.
I'm not. This is not the most disappointing one because I kind of saw it coming. I really did. I didn't think we were a Super Bowl team. I thought we were better than the Browns. I still think we're better than the Browns. I just think we dug ourselves such a hole we can't come out of it.
With the injuries also, I didn't mention that. That's huge. This defense could have been quite possibly, I don't want to act like I'm going out on some crazy limb, probably one of the best defenses
ever.
I don't know about all time, but probably top 15 easily.
The defense, we had 9 first-rounders on defense starting.
You don't have a shutdown corner.
Joe Hayden is a shutdown corner.
Agree to disagree?
Agree to disagree.
You think so too?
I agree to disagree with Nate.
Okay. Because if you're saying shutdown corner, that puts him in the Stephon Gilmore, Tre'Davious White category.
He's not that anymore. How many of those guys are in the league? And it doesn't matter. You proceed.
Again, so it's not the most disappointing. My most disappointing was the one there a few years ago we lost to the Broncos. But this game, this season, like I said, I would send Nate text during the game. We can't run the football. Why can't we stop these little 3rd and 3s? It's.
You know what I did with my phone? I flipped it over and turned it off. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
I always try to tell you it's not negativity. I'm just stating what I'm seeing. It's not negative.
It doesn't matter. I want to hear that bullshit all game.
We can't run the fucking football. That's all I was trying to say.
I never hear anything happy. I just don't listen to my phone.
Yeah, it wasn't the most disappointing. Again, the one there a few years ago when Peyton won his last one, I think that was our best team.
I think the most disappointed I've ever been is when Ben Roethlisberger got the ball back against the Packers, and I had 100% confidence we were going to win that ball game.
I guess that
was probably the most disappointed I've ever been in my fandom. Besides when Neil O'Donnell threw an interception when I was a little baby. I was a kid.
I remember.
What was the guy's the Cowboys linebacker? I don't remember his name.
What about losing to Tim Tebow on the first play of overtime?
It didn't even surprise me. Our secondary was so bad that year.
Yeah,
Ryan Clark's a joke.
But I mean, what worries me about Tomlin?
I'm sorry. Was that Mike Mitchell? Ryan Clark was out because he had the thing. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I didn't expect much out of that game.
I didn't expect to get beat by Tebow, if that's what you're asking.
Right, but it wasn't like this is a tearjerker.
But you take that team, the one there a few years ago, we lost to Jacksonville 13-3, and if you want to talk about records, 12-4 this year, and we haven't got past the division round. That worries me as far as Tomlin goes.
Last thing, and then we'll close it out. It's just a yes or a no. Going into next year, you guys running back, same defense, maybe add a couple linemen. Ben comes back one more year. Going into next year, where do you rank the Steelers? 1, 2, 3, 4 in the division?
In the division or the conference?
Just the division.
2.
Cleveland's better? Baltimore's better?
Baltimore's better. I think would be 2.
So you're going Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati?
Cleveland's better than Baltimore right now.
Based on what?
Lamar Jackson can't complete passes that aren't for children.
Well, when you can run the ball 50 yards for a touchdown, you don't have to really throw the football. I guess it doesn't matter.
That's why they're about to get out.
I mean,
I'm lucky by playing Tennessee the first round. Their defense is fantastic. Lamar Jackson's winning you this many championships.
I say a 40-year-old Ben, I would put him second at this point in time. I think our defense will be the best in the division. Again, but like Robbie said, if you bring everybody back, hopefully we add a lineman or 2. Right now, presently constructed, I would say we're second.
Easily think you running back, we're number 1 again.
I think we're the third
best.
Showing
up a few things, spend the money we've got. We can blow it up. As soon as Ben's gone, blow this whole damn thing up. I don't care. We can be bad for a while.
Trade TJ Watt to me.
Stop it. Good talk on the Steelers. This ran super long. I mean, I'm sure we could sit here and talk for another couple hours.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to end it on that. Thanks for joining us. Mike, thanks for hopping in.
Yes, sir.
Galoob, QB1, Robster.
Appreciate it, guys.
We had fun.
Do I get to
Good talking to you, Mike.
Like, share, follow. Oh, you want me to throw it? How about a beer cap?